Everything that lives is designed to end. We are perpetually trapped in a never-ending spiral of life and death. Is this a curse? Or some kind of punishment? I often think about the God who blessed us with this cryptic puzzle, and wonder if we'll ever have the chance to kill him.
While writing this review, I had a hard time trying to figure out how to exactly start it, seeing how odd and unconventional this game tends to be. If you want a straight story that tells you what's going on 100% of the time, you may be disappointed, as the story slowly unravels itself through subsequent playthroughs. However, NieR Automata made me stop constantly through my playtime to ponder the questions that it conveyed to me. Why am I here? What is my purpose? What is existence? This game uses its theming as well as its characters and submissions to present these questions, as well as other philosophical ideologies. But, before we get into all of that, let's talk about what NieR Automata is and what it's about.
Better make sure he's actually dead next time. That was dangerous, man.
In NieR Automata, you start the game by playing as an android by the name of 2B, a member of the Yorha unit created to protect humanity from the machines.
Glory to mankind.
Throughout the game, she is accompanied by her companion 9S, a recon model designed for scanning and reconnaissance. The story starts out simple. Find a Goliath-class machine and destroy it. If you've played the demo, then you already know this part. Afterwards, you meet up with 9S at the bunker, Yorha's base of operations, and are instructed to go to the resistance camp to provide assistance.
We haven't been able to get in touch with them, so we'll need you to...
As you go through the game, the rabbit hole goes deeper, as you start to uncover who created the machines and what exactly happened to mankind.
No.
While the story itself can be seen as boilerplate average on its own, its impact due to the theming as well as its score and presentation was powerful enough to keep me entertained and wanting to discover what exactly was going on.
We're not going anywhere unless we pass through that Goliath's legs. We should be careful.
The story was also saved by its stellar voice acting, even if some of the lines were cliché. In fact, some of the storytelling's best moments are when they display the relationship between 2B and 9S, and how it evolves over time. You start to care about them, and want to see what's going to happen next. This is done well through the voice acting as well as some of the conversations they have when just exploring the world. Now, as I said before, this game starts to make you think about existence and its worth. And as you slowly progress through the story, you start to see these machines that at first were just mindless enemies start to show signs of consciousness and emotions, and you start to wonder if machines can truly feel like humans can, as well as androids. Now, as you go through subsequent playthroughs, you will occasionally switch to other characters for a time being. For example, 9S lacks in a heavy attack, but can hack into enemies quickly to dispose of them, as well as access chests and areas that 2B normally can't. Now, if you want to know what happened in the past before all this came to be, the game actually has an archive that will give you backstory on enemies, characters, and the world as you go throughout the story. I couldn't help but pause and go to the archive to see what new information I discovered every time I picked some up. Now, if you've ever played a Platinum game, you will not be disappointed with the combat. It's fast and feels great, the controls are pitch perfect, and I always felt like a badass when doling out some android vengeance. When it comes to combat, you have two options: close range melee and far range attacks. And at first this does seem pretty simple, but as you obtain more weapons, pod abilities, and plug-in chips, you can create a moveset that caters to your specific playstyle. But first things first, when it comes to weapons, you have 4 different classes: small swords, large swords, spears, and combat bracers. When playing as 2B, for instance, you can equip up to 2 weapons, one for your light and one for your heavy attack, and depending on what you equip on what will determine your moveset. The standard set you get is the small sword on light and the large sword on heavy, but these are interchangeable, and equipping 2 of the same category of weapon will also have its own moveset. Moving on to pods. Pods are your little robot buddies that allow you to utilize long-range combat. You can get up to 3 pods in total. Now at first this seems very limited, but the variety lies within the pod programs. You can find various different programs throughout the game that'll grant different abilities, from summoning spears and hammers to more tactical type abilities like the wire to zip towards your enemy, and the slow motion ability which allows you to slow enemy down within a certain movement. And lastly, we have the plug-in chips. Now, to put it simply, plug-in chips are effects you can equip to one of 3 customizable loadouts. Each one has a different effect. One can give you increased XP, while another can increase your movement speed. But apart from these support type chips, there are also those that can give you different abilities, such as striking enemy projectiles, causing them to explode, adding shockwaves to your melee attack, or, my personal favorite, slowing down time every time you dodge an enemy attack. Utilizing these can allow you to make a playstyle that suits your taste, and I enjoyed experimenting with different loadouts to see which one I liked best. Now, when you're exploring the world, you can find various sub-missions that you can do between your main missions. Unfortunately, a lot of these boil down to go here, retrieve or fight X, and come back. Well, at least when it came to the side quest from the Resistance. However, there were quite a bit that were genuinely interesting and had me trying to decide which option to choose at the end, particularly among the robot pacifist village led by a machine by the name of Pascal, who ended up being one of my favorite characters. Now, let's talk about the boss fights. Platinum's previous games had excellent boss fights, and NieR Automata is no exception. There were plenty of times where I would audibly shout in joy when fighting some of these monsters, from the walking factory Engels to the hate-obsessed Adam. This game is unique in how it utilizes different ways for you to experience combat. You can start out from standard third-person character action, then switch to side or top-down action, only to end with a shmup or bullet hell scenario. The development team did a fantastic job offering variety to the way levels play out. And, as per any open-world-esque game, there are secrets you can find throughout the game. Many of these are triggers for some of the 26 endings this game has. That's right, this game has 26 endings. And while most of them are funny, odd endings, 5 of them are actually story significant. So you should definitely try to go for those if you want the full explanation. Each of the areas are well designed, with a feeling of Mother Nature reclaiming what was hers. This all ties together perfectly with the various scores that play in each section. Now, in regards to the music, I need this soundtrack now. The music team did an amazing job scoring this game. From its most epic heights to its most melancholy, the music always fit the tone to what you were doing perfectly. NieR Automata's strongest points were its combat and its focus on characters' personal hardship. As I said before, this game is focused on making you ponder the philosophical questions it gave you. And while the story isn't the strongest I played through, its use of music, tone, and theming made this a memorable and enjoyable experience.
Soldiers, we take pride in our service.
HO229 Flight Unit, Command 677 received. Usage rights transferred from 9S to 2B. Requesting acknowledgement.
Please.
All right.
界中路